What's up, Holla Way gang? Welcome back to another episode of the Let Me Holla at You podcast. Sorry we mixed y'all last week. We were too busy vacation on our honeymoon, but we're back at you with another episode of the Let Me Holla at You podcast where we talk real stories, real life, and real love. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us and coming back to this episode. But with no further ado, let me holla at you.
All right, y'all. Thank you again so much for joining us on another episode. We are officially on episode 10, and we're so excited that you guys are back. Or if you're new, welcome and thank you for joining. That being said, we're going to do what we always do and start off our episode with a story. I found this Reddit story from 2 Hot Takes, so shout out to Hot Takes. Thank you guys for finding it. If you haven't checked them out, feel free to go check them out. They're really great if you haven't already heard them. But that being said, we're going to go ahead and dive right in, and we're going to get all the tea. So this is titled, Would I Be the Asshole for Keeping My Ex's Life Insurance Payout Instead of Giving It to His Pregnant Girlfriend? Thanks. My ex and I were together for 7 years, and we got engaged 2 years ago. Around that time, we both took out life insurance policies listing each other as beneficiaries. It made sense at the time because we were planning life together. Then 6 months before the wedding, he cheated on me, and I was devastated. But I forgave him because I didn't want to throw away 7 years of my life. I thought we could move past it, but 2 months before the wedding, he blindsided me. He left me for the same woman he had cheated with. I was completely heartbroken. I begged him to reconsider, but he told me he had moved on and that I should too. And it took me a long time to heal. But eventually, I accepted that he had made his choice. And over time, I worked on rebuilding my life that was a year ago. I updated my own life insurance policy in that year, assuming he would do the same. Then last week, I got the unexpected news that he had passed away suddenly. It was shocking, but what surprised me even more was getting a call from his sister. Apparently, he never changed his beneficiary, which means I am set to receive a $100,000 payout. Now his girlfriend, the woman he left me for, has reached out, asking me to give her the money she's pregnant with his child and currently unemployed. She says the money should go to her and the baby because I am just his ex. I understand that this is a situation and I have sympathy for her child. At the end of the day, this was his responsibility. He had an entire year to update his policy and he didn't. I wasn't expecting this money, but legally it is mine. I didn't take anything from anyone. It was his choice to leave things as they were. I don't think I should be obligated to give it up, especially considering how he treated me. This isn't about revenge or pettiness. It's simply about the fact that I was the named beneficiary, and I see no reason why I should be the one to fix a mistake that he made. That being said, I don't want to be heartless. I'm considering setting aside a small amount for the baby because none of this is the child's fault, but at the same time, I don't think I should feel guilty for keeping what was legally left to me. Am I the asshole?
Oh, very loaded.
Yeah, very loaded.
So my first initial thought is I don't think she's the asshole at all because again, like she stated, I mean, it wasn't her fault. He didn't change the policy after, you know what I'm saying, circumstances went however they go.
And it's been a year.
And it has been a full year knowing that you have a child and which would have been smart to go and yeah, you felt guilty about how you did her. You still want to leave her something. I understand that. But it would have been smarter to even go and put your child on it so that they will receive that money because they should be, at that point, especially if you're not married, your number one responsibility.
Yeah.
So I think it does solely lie on him for not doing that. Very big of her to offer to give some money for the child. Mm-hmm. That was very fair of her. And she actually didn't have to do that at all. No. And I don't think it's right at all for the baby mom to be requesting it because she's not his wife either. So that kind of tells you where her, you know what I'm saying, mindset was at.
Yeah. I do say, and I'll keep mine very short, but I have a couple things. As someone who worked in finance, it's so easy to change your beneficiary. It is not hard. Okay, I did this for clients all the time. Like, I literally worked in finance. I was on the client side of it, more of like a client relations. But literally, they just called. They could even email me, okay, and just give me approval, and I changed their beneficiary. And all you need is a name and a date of birth. So I don't know exactly what their policy was. Obviously, like, there's different policies out there and everything, but he could have gotten that changed. And at the same time, I can almost guarantee you, if you sign up for a life insurance policy, usually those come out monthly. So your finances, it's coming out every month, if not every week or however you have it set up. You're probably getting things in the mail, new statements, or you're getting new correspondences, new emails, even if it's not in the actual physical mail. So you've had reminders, and you would have known to change that. So you not changing it was you being lazy, and unfortunately, and, you know, rest in peace, but, like, unfortunately, yeah, that is affecting your baby mama, like, and your girlfriend that you left here with a child pregnant. Now, I will say, too, as a woman, I do feel for that lady that is pregnant, and is unemployed. So, especially if your partner and the person that was supporting you died unexpectedly, I'm sorry about that, and I feel for you, but you're not legally obligated to anything, because, again, she is the listed beneficiary, and he had time to change that, and if he didn't, that's not her fault. So legally, she is obligated to that money. And also, business law, again, I'm a business person, I don't feel sorry for her in the way that, and I don't even think, again, I think she was being super generous about leaving the child something, because even then, she doesn't have to do that at all. She could take the $100K and go walk with it and do whatever she wants with it. But that money is legally entitled to her. So for the sister, and especially after the whole situation happened, you were literally engaged to be married to this woman, and you guys are acting like she should just be over. Like, this was only a year ago that this all happened, that you cheated on her, and then still obviously said you'd be with her, and then 2 months, 5 months later, 2 months before the wedding, blew up her life again. You know what I mean?
All that's justified, but it is very mature for her to put that to the side.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying.
And to look more at the child, because he made the mistake. And of course, he died.
But I'm talking about the sister and the girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and the girlfriend was the one that cheated.
They're more so in the story are speaking on, or I would want to hope this. I can't speak for baby mom. It sounds like in her situation, she just really needs the money. Yeah. But I'm guessing the sister's coming in from more of an aspect of his child could really use that money. Yeah. And it is for, his mom, the child's going to look to the mother for everything until he's old enough to do himself. So inevitably, giving that money to the child is giving it to his mom so that she can raise the child in the right way. And that, I think that's big of a sister to look out for her niece or nephew in the passing of her brothers. I don't want to.
I do see that.
I don't want to include her in, or not even really the baby mom, because I had a single mother. You know what I'm saying?
That's just getting into business, though. That's not yours.
Oh yeah, the beneficiary fault is totally, that has nothing to do with her. I just don't want to make or put anybody in a negative light, because I don't think anybody in this situation is in a negative light. I think everything kind of, to me, goes back on him. He should have had his business squared away and had all that stuff situated, so that in his passing, because the whole point of it is you don't know when you're going to pass. It's about your untimely death. So you don't want your loved ones to be concerned or worried about anything like that in your passing. So it's totally 100% up to him to look out and care enough about those people to make sure that they got what they deserve if something like this were to happen. We don't know the circumstance in which he passed. It could have been at work or not at work, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's up to him to be handling and control that policy. So I honestly do feel for the woman that did get pregnant. Like, even if she obviously knew he was in a relationship or not, like, whether I agreed with how she got pregnant and who she ended up with, that's her business. And I do understand, like, this was someone obviously that you were with, and you got pregnant, with somebody, like, you were expecting that. However, you can't put your situation on somebody else, and that's where I'm trying to get to as well. Is like, yeah, you're unemployed and pregnant, but that's not her situation, and it's not her job to take care of you because you decided to go this route with your life. Like, knowing something could, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's the worst case scenario, and I do feel for that, but all I'm saying is, like, just don't come for this girl, because she's not in charge of fixing her ex's mistakes, even, or your mistakes, or even if it's not a mistake, your life. Like, and I feel bad for her too, because she's like low key having to relive everything that she went through in that amount of time, because the situation just kind of fell into her lap and it had nothing to do with her. So again, it's just like, to me, it's leaning more so to how terrible of a person he might have been, and less to these women. Because again,
lazy. It's not hard to update your beneficiary.
Yeah, very true. It's not hard to do that. And again, and that's why I'm thinking, again, I can't speak for him. He's not here.
Yes,
You know,
and I meant that when I say rest
condolences
in
to the
peace.
family, and I don't know how
Yeah.
old the story is, so condolences to everybody.
Yeah.
But a lot of it just kind of really fall on him. I don't want these women to get thrown in a negative light because of this situation. Because none of it, I think, had anything to do with any of them.
No, it was really on
They
him.
all just were kind of thrown into this situation, not knowing that this was going to be the outcome.
Girl, go collect that check.
Yeah, for sure. Collect that check.
I do agree. I love that
Give
you're
some
not
money to the
heartless.
baby.
And and honestly, if you really want to make sure it goes to the baby too, obviously you guys took out life insurance policies. You probably know that there's other things you can do as well for children. You can set up a trust or something for them. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do all that kind of stuff.
And if you've grown in a year and you've gotten over it, I mean, honestly, if you want to cut clean ties, give it all to him and just be done with all of it. You have nothing from him.
Actually, hold on.
You have nothing dealing with him, and you're completely just cut off from it.
Go invest it into something really well, make lots of money, and then you can keep millions that you could possibly make off of the 100K, and then give them the 100K after you made your millions.
Right, or pay for the child to go through school, or help out with anything. You know, whatever you want to do. But
That's all we got. But let us know what you guys think. Would she be the a-hole to keep the money off of herself? Do you think she should do maybe what she was talking about and setting it up for like something for the child, or giving some for the child and then keeping the rest? Or do you think that she should be giving them all the money? What do you guys think? Because obviously there's lots of differing opinions.
Yes.
I'd love to hear.
And they all matter.
Yes. We already dove into our story. Now we're going to swim on through to the rest of the episode.
Let's go.
And the reason I'm using all these swimming and diving references and all that jazz is because we just got back from our honeymoon. And it was a tropical one. We were in the Virgin Islands. We were on the beach. We were on the boat, on the ocean, in the ocean, on the beach, doing all this stuff. And it was so much fun. And it was a lot of great good time, right?
Yes. We'll recap this more in detail later.
Yes. But that being said, we thought, what better time to do an episode for you guys all about traveling, especially in group settings. We have obviously traveled together. I've traveled solo. You've traveled solo technically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've traveled solo. We've traveled with groups together. We've traveled with groups away from each other, but still in groups as well. And so we're just going to go ahead and dive into just traveling dynamics and some things you might want to keep in mind or think about. But before we do all that, we have a little Would You Rather game. We would love to hear your answers, by the way. Obviously, we're your hosts, so you have to hear our answers if you're listening. But we would love to hear your answers as well. So after this episode or after you hear these questions, feel free to send it in to us or even comment on a post and let us know if you agreed or disagreed or whatnot, because some of these are quite interesting.
Yes.
That being said, would you rather travel with a group of friends who are all morning people, but you're a night owl, or with a group of people that loves to stay up late, but you're an early riser?
So, me in particular, being a night owl, I'm totally cool if everybody else is a morning person and I'm the only one that's up at night, because I'm also a morning person too, depending on especially if we're on a trip, if we're having fun, I don't mind waking up early or being up early in the morning when everybody else is up, and I also don't mind being the only person up at night when everybody else is asleep and I'm watching TV or whatever. So, I'm cool with everybody else being a morning person and me being a night owl. What about you?
I'm actually the same way. I think that I would rather maybe do the group that stays out late, because usually there's more things, or not more, but there's like a lot more, depending on the kind of group trip it is, that you can do sometimes at night that you can't always do in the morning. But at the same time, that kind of goes for the flip side. There's some things that are better to do in the morning that you can't do at night. So honestly, I'm good either way. I could stay up late and wake up early because I'm on vacation, and if I want to do stuff, I'm going to do stuff. So
right,
I really can do either one.
We're very good middle of the ground people. I think depending on whatever crowd, I mean, we could.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm a night owl, 100%, and I would love to sleep in. But when it comes to vacation, for some reason, my body knows how to wake up at 5 a.m. if I needed to.
Oh yeah, it's exciting. You're excited. You want to get out. You want to mingle. You want to do stuff. Yeah.
Now, this one. Would you rather have a perfectly planned trip, organized trip with a strict itinerary but no flexibility, or a completely spontaneous trip where nothing is planned but everything is uncertain?
Neither. I'd want something kind of in the middle.
Well, you gotta pick one.
I guess perfectly planned, as long as everybody, put their 2 cents in on what everybody wanted to do, and we were repeating multiple things, and everybody felt heard. Then I'm cool with perfectly planned, rather than just going out there and not knowing at all what we're gonna do, and then we end up doing nothing or doing the same thing we would end up doing at home.
True. So I'm actually on the opposite side of that. As much as I am a type A planner and I get everything together, strangely enough, I would rather have a spontaneous trip where nothing is planned and everything's uncertain because I know being a type A planner, when I get there, I will make something happen. And just having that freedom and flexibility of having or being spontaneous, I think I would appreciate more than having something so strictly planned that it's like if I don't want to do something, it's gonna like mess up the rest of my schedule or something. Or if I stay later at something because I was really enjoying my time, it's like I can't stay later because it'll mess up the schedule. And I feel like that would then become more of a hindrance than something that'd be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I feel like is definitely a different
That's like work.
answer for me. But.
When you go to work, your day is pretty much already planned. You know exactly what you're doing at this time, what you're doing
Right.
this time, this time, this time, this time. On a trip, you necessarily don't want that. So that makes total sense.
Right. Now, this one. Would you rather always have to share a room with a friend who snores loudly or with someone who takes forever to get ready in the morning? I would personally rather share, or not share the room, sorry. I would rather travel with someone who takes forever to get ready in the morning because I still need sleep on vacation. And when you snore really loudly, and if I have to share a room with you, I would not be able to sleep. Like, I'd have to go sleep on a floor or a couch somewhere else, or you would have to because like if you're that loud of a snorer, I'm not getting any sleep. So
Right.
I would rather just make sure I wake up 2 hours early to wake you up 2 hours early to get us out the door because you take forever than not get any sleep at all.
Right. I'm used to sleeping with the snoring in a different way. So I
I
think
don't snore. PSA,
either
no
way,
way.
like I would be able to go to sleep. What was the other
Okay.
one again?
Or someone that takes really long to get ready in the morning.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with that. If you take a super long time to get ready or whatever, whether I'm ready or I'm just going to sit there and wait for you to be like, okay, I'm done, and then I'll go get ready because I know it's going to take me maybe like 15, 20 minutes. I think I'd be cool because I could fill my time while you're getting ready. Or if I knew this ahead of time, I'll plan, okay, she says she's going to start getting ready at this time, but I know she's not going to be ready for another hour. So that means I can go and do this or go play video games for an hour until she gets finished and then do something else. So yeah, I'm
So
cool with
which
that.
one would you rather? Because you just said both were good.
No, I said I'd rather
Oh, the morning one?
yeah, the morning one. Yeah, somebody
Oh,
takes a long time to get ready.
So
Sorry,
you
I
could
couldn't
sleep.
remember the words.
No, you're fine. So you could sleep with someone snoring, but you would rather deal with the morning.
Yeah, I'd rather deal
Okay.
with the morning if I had a choice for sure.
Okay.
I've definitely the snoring thing had nothing to do with you. That was like just growing up with like my brothers because I think everybody in my family snores.
Yeah.
Including me sometimes apparently, which I hear. I just don't do it often enough for me to be like
No,
I'm a
you don't.
snorer. But
I
I'm
get
I'm
sleep,
used to living with
obviously.
that. Yeah.
All right, cool. Next one. Would you rather be stuck in an airport for 10 hours or lost in a foreign city with no Wi-Fi and no one speaks your language?
Oh, that one's loaded.
Airport.
Yeah, I
I
was
have actually
probably
slept
airport.
overnight in an airport when I was backpacking for a weekend in Europe, and honestly, it really wasn't that bad. You got chargers. You're gonna have security, okay? Because especially in the U.S., if you're in the U.S., especially, you're gonna have security. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm not airport. I'll take it. I can charge my phone. I'll
Yeah,
keep myself entertained for 10 hours. They got food.
you made that easy for me. I think I probably definitely say airport because the foreign city. I know me, and like I'm not easily flustered, but I can become flustered if there's too many like multiple challenges that I'm having to solve at one time
And they're
and
big
being
ones.
lost. Nobody speaks my language. I don't like those are too
Yeah.
many things that I feel like I'll be very overwhelmed.
Well, and I was about to say, and they even like the part that gets me is I was like, okay, foreign city, no one speaks my language. That's fine because we have apps for that, right? But I don't have
That's true.
Wi-Fi. So
Oh
if I
yeah,
don't
no
have
Wi-Fi, so you
Wi-Fi,
can't use that.
if
Yep.
I'm in a spot with no data and or my phone's dying, you're gonna go to old caveman sign language, okay?
You're sitting duck.
Yeah.
You're sitting duck. You're just waiting to be stolen, trafficked, or murdered.
That took a left turn.
But I'm telling you, like,
No.
I'm telling you,
Right
like, that's how I would feel in that situation. Like, okay, I'm just waiting on my demise because I have no way to save myself at all. Like, when I go to talk to people, nobody understands what I'm saying. I look like a crazy person anyway, so I'm gonna either get arrested. Like, you just don't know what could happen. But I also know that I would just be peed off being in the airport for 10 hours. I'd probably leave. Like, I probably wouldn't even stay in the airport. 10 hours, I'd leave. I'd go somewhere else.
Mhm. Okay, next one. Would you rather travel to a destination that everyone else in your group wants to visit, but you're not so interested in, or go to a place that you love, but no one else is excited about?
I'd rather go to some place that everybody else was excited about and maybe I wasn't super interested in, just because maybe their excitement would make me more interested in it, and we could still have a lot of fun there. Just because right off the bat I wasn't interested in going, but we could still maybe go have a great time, and now I love doing that activity.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So I'm gonna take a different route. Well, no, I agree actually with that. Like if I had to go on this trip, I would rather go on the one where everyone's excited about it and I'm not, because I can try and find something or make something that I like about it and whatever. But honestly, I'm the type of person I just wouldn't go on the trip. I
Yeah,
know
that's true.
if I have to pick a
That
side,
wasn't an option.
I know I was like, if I have to pick a side because I've been making you do it, I would pick the side of everybody else
Yeah.
and suck it up kind of thing and find something. But if I don't have to pick a side, my actual scapegoat is I'm just not gonna go because if I'm really against going there, I'm just not gonna go and y'all have fun, y'all got
Yeah,
it.
for
Like,
sure. Or I'll stay in the room or something.
yeah. But I mean, honestly, too, though, like if everyone else is excited about it and it's like people that I really like want to go with or I'm like really good friends with, I'd go to be with them. Like,
Yeah.
um, excuse me. All right, last one for you. So this one I'm actually very curious about. Would you rather have perfect weather for every group trip, but the food is terrible, or amazing food, but terrible weather, rainy, storming, whatever, the entire time? So which one would you rather have? Good food, bad weather, good weather, bad food.
I'm sorry. I'm a food person. I love great food, and that's one thing I like when we
Oh,
when we do
really?
travel. I'm always thinking like, where's somewhere I haven't eaten before? Where's like a type of cuisine I could eat here that would be way better than it would be where I normally live? Because I don't know, I really like not experimenting with food, but I like experiencing and trying new foods, and I like when the food is really really good. Now the other half of that's money, but I didn't ask about that. But I felt like, but honestly though, on the flip side of it, the place that you'd get the really good food, you'd have to go to. And if it's raining and storming the entire time, would you feel comfortable being in a new
Going.
place necessarily going, or would you even have the means to go?
Yeah.
But in a world where there is DoorDash and all this other stuff, we don't know what the storm is though. It could be a hurricane, it could be a tornado, or it
Well,
could just be
really
rain.
just like rainy weather, yeah.
Oh
Like
yeah,
if it was just
rain.
like really bad
Yeah,
rainy weather
yeah,
or
rain.
something.
I'd rather have the good food. We can get drinks and stuff at the place, and all hang out and have a good time. Put music on. Like I'm
Yeah.
a simple, chill guy. Like I'm fine with that. As long as I can eat some good food. I don't want to eat no nasty food and have pretty weather. What?
So I'm actually the opposite. As much as I'm a foodie and I love food, I'd rather have the good weather because my thing is if I'm going somewhere and I spent all this money to go, even if it's not a lot of money, I still spent money to go there. I'm like, I would rather at least be able to mostly enjoy whatever destination I'm at and just eat, And they say bad food, but I mean that could also just be bad food like McDonald's or something. Like I'll suck it up and have okay
Oh yeah, that's
food.
true.
You know what I'm saying?
Because
Like,
even on the trip we took, I mean, we didn't go eat a bunch of fancy food. We cooked at the place like pretty
yeah.
much every day, and it was still good food. I mean, we cooked
Yeah.
stuff we know that we like. But
Exactly. And it's like
so yeah, I can
is it
see
gonna
that.
have to like
I'm kind of changing my
because I
mind a
feel
little
like
bit.
bad food is like is there really such a thing as bad food? I mean, like there's food that might taste bad, but you know not to eat it, but
But it doesn't taste
do
as
they mean
good.
just bad food as in yeah, just like okay food that really wasn't that great? I could suck that up and be fine and then come back and have a bomb meal when I'm home.
Hey, I
So
get it. I know how I sound. I sound like an American. You're right.
no,
I'm very
I
much of an
would
American.
love the good food. Yeah.
Yes, I've been spoiled by taste. I'm sorry.
I have to.
There are certain flavors and tastes that go in my mouth, and it's like, yum. I want to taste those
I
when I
think it
eat
also
food.
depends on the destination.
And I'm normally the one that I will try to be like, best of both worlds, old world, new world type of guy. No, I want it to taste good, especially because if I'm looking at it, my mouth is already expecting a taste. My brain is, I'm smelling. I want it to taste good. That's the whole point. Eating is an experience. It's not, see, I think because you got to do it 3 times a day, people don't value it enough. Eating is an experience and it should be appreciated.
What you cooking
But
for dinner tonight? No, I'm playing.
we'll talk about that after.
I'm playing.
Because I'm getting hungry.
That just
But
sounded really good. Yeah.
it sounded
I was
great.
gonna say, and I will actually update my answer because I just thought about this. My bachelorette trip it was on a beach, completely rained the entire time, but I still had a blast because we went in the hot tub even if it was raining, and we had goldfish, which was amazing, like the nice cheddary ones. We had really great drinks. We went and got brunch and had some good food.
Catered by moi.
Well, the goldfish, yes. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? So, I think it actually depends on the trip. Now, if we were going, for example, on our honeymoon, like, yeah, I could have dealt with the bad weather, but it made it honestly so much better to have great weather, and I would have rather had good weather.
For
So I
sure.
think it depends on the type of trip actually as to
Yeah.
what my answer would be.
Because sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes you go someplace and it just so happens to rain, and
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, well, what do we do now?
Right.
So yeah.
That's all I got those. And that was our last would you rather for the day. So that last would you rather, I'm actually going to kind of use to transition us into a couple of things that we just recommend that you guys think about before you go on group trips.
Yes.
So we had talked about, or I had talked about, I should say, how depending on the type of trip, I could actually go for the food or the weather, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it depended, but it just really depended on the situation and where I was going. Well, that kind of brings me into this first point is before you go on a group trip with anyone, and depending on whether it's a big group, a small group, medium sized, whatever, you guys need to know your travel styles. Okay, your travel styles are very, very important.
Yes.
Are you an active traveler? Like you get there and you have stuff planned, you want to go do stuff, you want to do everything you can while you're there? Are you someone who's relaxed that literally just wants to go and sit down and do nothing and where are you paid to go? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's it. Like, you want to relax and you don't want to do stuff? Or are you someone that's a mixture of both? Or, you
Mm-hmm.
know, are you going for an event? That's very, very important because a lot of people's travel styles can then clash if they're not the same.
Yes.
Like, are you someone, for example, I love to travel for national parks and for scenery. I'm not a big city traveler. I will travel for city, but I usually when I travel, it's because I want to go see the really pretty beaches or the really cool mountains or this really cool
Yeah.
landmark. Like, I'm a very national parks person. So my thing is that I'm gonna go, I'm gonna hike, I'm gonna sightsee. If there's events and things to do, or not events or like activities, like we went on the boat and stuff, and I went snorkeling and like swimming and all this stuff, like we were gone all day. Like that's the type of traveler I am for the most part, with a little bit of relaxation in there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're someone that wants to just literally couch surf and enjoy the view from inside or even on the balcony and not go do stuff, that could clash for
Mm-hmm.
100% with me because I'm gonna want to go do stuff,
Right.
know. So it's just something to keep in mind. Just what's your travel style? If you don't know your travel style, maybe start thinking about your previous trips too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and kind of think about how you've developed that. And what about you? Because I feel like I am very type A, so I feel like I'm like the one that usually plans our trips. And don't get me wrong, I definitely get his input. I'm like,
Oh
well,
yeah.
what do you want to do? You know, like, you know, I have these. Do you like these options? And if so, which one do you like the best? Like, so, but I'm usually the person that like has all this stuff that I bring to the table. You know, have I kind of rubbed off on you in that way, or are you more of a relaxer, or
So
and you just
here,
put up with it for
how I
me?
kind of view it in my head, and I was actually funny because I was talking to my family about that this past weekend about like our trip
Mhm.
dynamic, and basically how it comes is like Katsu, or she'll have an idea of a trip that she wants to take, and then like she'll come to me, and the first thing she'll ask, or it'll be in reference to finances. Do you think we can afford to take a trip like
Yeah.
that,
Or
or
do you even want to go?
yeah, or where's our money situation like?
Yeah.
Then she comes to me with that, and then I sit down and we talk together about the finances or how we're gonna finance the trip and things like that of that nature. But I normally kind of Katya's more versed in traveling than I am. I didn't have the opportunity to travel as much growing up as she has, so I do kind of lean on her expertise in the traveling world and places that she like. There's a lot of places that she's been that I've never been that I want to go to.
And I'm
So
taking him too.
yes, and so I let her take charge on that. Yes, for sure. Now, fellas, I do suggest you keep maybe like 5 to 10 spots in your mind or trips that you really love to take and want to take. And that way, if it's open season, like, hey, we haven't done anything this year, what do you want to do? Then that gives you the opportunity to kind of, okay, well, I was thinking about taking this trip. And then that way, your lady doesn't feel like I'm always the one planning. It becomes like a partnership thing, more of a discussion.
Yeah.
Now, getting back on topic and talking about like group trips, one thing that's important to me and that I've learned is you can have different friends with different vibes and different energies and things like that. But and I've talked about this with a lot of our topics. It's about awareness. Be aware of the type of friend that you're inviting on
Yeah.
a particular type of trip. So, for example, if you're gonna go on a trip to the mountains and you're gonna want to hike and you're gonna want to go do all these other things that require you to be outdoors, but you invite your friends that you know are more chill. They like to kind of relax and just enjoy the space where they are. They don't really like to do the nature stuff, or they're not able to do it in a capacity the same way as
So
you
you
are.
want to do it.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I think that'll save you from a lot of tiffs, maybe in like the trip world, of just by knowing the better. And it's okay. Like, you're not being a bad friend by, maybe not, and inviting certain friends on certain trips. Now, I say if it's a group of you and you guys always do stuff together, then you suggest it amongst the group. Like, hey, I'm thinking about taking this type of trip. We can do hiking, we can go camping, we can do this stuff. And then when
Or
you
make the
list,
intention known.
yes, make the intention known of the type of trip that you're taking.
Yeah.
And your friends, more than likely, if they're real friends and it's an open space, they will let you know, not really my thing. I don't want to spend the money and go and like have you guys include me, and then I'm a party pooper where I'm not able to
Right.
participate like everybody else. So I think that might be a better way to go about it if all your friends are tight knit. But if you have different friends and they don't all intermingle or know each other, then it's very easy to just sit down and think, who would enjoy, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
this type of trip, and who would want to do this kind of stuff with me? Because if I go, I want to do this
Yeah.
stuff.
100%.
And be okay if people, no one wants to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If it's just you and your partner or just you by yourself. Like,
Oh, yeah.
take your trip by yourself. But I think that'll save a lot of the
A lot of
miscommunications and
headaches.
issues and
Yeah.
a lot of headaches. But just kind of knowing your people, knowing who you're going with and the type of trip that you want to have and being open and honest about that. Don't sugarcoat because you just want people to go with you. So you're going to say the things that you know that they would like to do, but then you get to the trip and you don't want to do it.
Because that could actually ruin friendships.
That could ruin friendships. And they don't want to go nowhere with you no
It's
more.
even a trend now. Actually, I think I've seen it on TikTok lately that people are like, the friendship did not last, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's actually been one I saw earlier that the friendship did not last PCB, like Panama City Beach or whatever. And I was like, dang, like that really sucks. But I'm like,
it sucks.
Honestly, it's like things like that, especially when money's involved, which is going to bring me to my next point that I wanted to bring up actually, was budget compatibility.
And if you got payment
deadlines. Messy.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, because here's the thing, like when you're going on a trip, especially in a group setting, usually you're splitting some sort of space. And especially when it comes to like flights are per person, right? Everyone can get their flight. If you want to go and fly Delta Airlines versus someone else wants to go fly Spirit, they can, as long as you're getting there whenever you're supposed to be getting there, whatever, it doesn't matter. One's going to be $500, one's going to be 50 or 70 or 100. Okay, like, so we get it. But when it comes to like a hotel or an Airbnb or a vacation home, like that's the kind of thing, especially if you want your group to stay together, which most people do on group trips,
right?
You need to discuss those things ahead of time. And if you're doing activities, what kind of activities do you want to do? What kind of budget do you have? Because if you're going somewhere where it's really expensive to get there, someone would be like, yeah, I'm down, but I'm not going to have a lot of money to spend once I'm there. I need to save it for food. And like, it has to be like reasonably cheap food. Or are you guys like, I want to go on a luxury vacation? Like, what kind of traveler are you, almost in the sense of budget as well? Because I'm not going to lie, I feel like I actually kind of fit in a couple boxes. Sometimes I'd like to maybe be a little more bougie. But honestly, most of the time, I'm a budget traveler. Like, I am the person that's like, let's go on a road trip or let's go. And I'm not going to lie, y'all. We flew Spirit on our honeymoon. You want to know why? Because I had more money to do stuff when I got there. I didn't care. It was a, 3-hour flight?
Yeah.
I didn't matter if I had Delta or Spirit. Like, when it came down to it, I had more money to spend on the Virgin Islands doing whatever I wanted to do and going on the boat and diving and snorkeling and all this other stuff than if I had flown with, like, Delta or something.
And I had a very pleasurable flight experience.
Yeah, so it's like, you know what I'm saying? But, like, that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people are, no, I would never fly Spirit. And it's like, that's fine. That's your preference, whatever. But for me, my budget was like, no, I'd rather take a cheap flight and use that money elsewhere because I don't just have all the money in the world to spend. Like,
right.
Like, we don't, okay? Like, a lot of people are not in that position to do that.
Right.
So, that's just nothing I haven't even really else to say besides just discuss your budget, kind of going into it of how much you're willing or wanting to spend on a trip, because then you can also have a lot of people clashing in that way of like, well, we don't have the money to go out to dinner, but they're like, well, we said we were going out to dinner, and it's like, okay, we didn't discuss budgets. Like,
yeah.
You know, so that's all I have to say on that one. You have anything to add?
And don't be afraid to like, there's a lot of times where you can be talking to your friends like, we should take a trip. Like we've done that so many times. You will never take the trip unless you actually start planning it. So if you really want, like if you really want to take a trip and you say that, start planning it that day. Start talking about ideas of places you'd want to go and start putting price together so that it actually happens. There's so many times where I feel like there are people now to the point where like you brought up the idea so much and it's never happened. They don't even believe you when you say it. So it's like, I don't even want to go with you no more because it's like I don't even know if you're going to go for real.
I would say that. And also you said something that just light bulb. People that like will want to come, but kind of want to come on someone else's dime.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know people
if
like
you
that.
have those friends or family or, well, I was going to say cousins are family too. So friends, family, whoever they are, strangers, and they want to come on your dime, but you know that they do, and you don't want to afford that, have that tough conversation with them. Like, and, or make them pay for things ahead of time. Like some people be like, hey, you know, can I pay you back or whatever? My best friend, if she ever was like, hey, can you get the Airbnb and then I'll pay you back in like a month or two when I get paid? Yeah, because I know she's paying me back. 100%. But I know her and I know that she would pay me back if I needed. You know what I'm saying? Like, or help me out if I need on the trip or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a different story.
Right.
But someone I don't really know, or someone that I know has a tendency to not pay me back or to not pay their dues kind of thing, I will lots of
Yes.
friendships could be broken because you're messing now with my situation because you're
And
wanting to
it's
come on my
okay
dime.
to not go. Like, I know you
Yeah.
want to go, but if you just can't go, I mean, be honest with yourself. Like, hey, y'all, I don't have the finances to go on that trip. First of all, you may realize that you got a better friend than somebody than you thought, and they may be doing better off, and they may be like, bro, I would just really want to go out there with you. I want
Right.
to have your company. I got you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's different if they offer that. You cannot be planning a trip with other people with the intentions of
Not actually
paying. Like, how you think we're going on this trip? You think you just
grow wings? No
no?
switch.
Like, we gonna have to pay. We gotta fly there. We gotta drive there. Like, there got to be some arrangements made. Like, this stuff don't just happen overnight. I've heard so many stories from my friends or family members that this same situation happened. I was like, how do you plan something with no intentions of paying? Like, that's just mind blowing to me. So be honest with your people. Be real with your people about your intentions for your trip. It's okay to plan it out. You don't have to plan out every single detail. Do some research into where you're going. See the things that they offer. Give multiple options. If you're the head honcho of this trip, give multiple options of feasibility for your group of friends, especially if you know not all of y'all are in the same tax bracket or in the same type of family situation. Some of them people might got kids, and they might be doing well for having kids, but
not well enough for this expensive luxury
trip. This expensive luxury trip, you know. So just be honest with your people. Redbird. But be honest with your people, and I think you'll be fine. Be honest with yourself. You know you ain't no 10-mile hike type of person. Don't go on no trip where you see on there they got planned a 6 to 10-mile hike. You're gonna die.
It'll be rough.
Joking. But, just be real about the situation. Be honest and handle your responsibilities as an adult, or handle your responsibilities because they're your responsibility to pay for your trip and to make sure that you're comfortable and make sure that you have everything that you need while you get there. It is not the responsibility of the people that you go with just because you like them or you know them, or they could be family. You could even love these people, but it's still not their responsibility to take care of you.
And that puts a burden on them too.
Yeah, 100%.
Even if they say, oh, it's not a problem. No, you're still kind of not even kind of, you are putting a burden on them unless they offered. That is a burden to them at some point. You know what I'm saying? Because if they didn't offer, then that means that they didn't just have it like that to just be having it like that. You know what I mean? So,
right.
But
and just because the person who offers the idea of the trip, that does not become their sole responsibility to plan everything for everybody and give you all the options. Right. No, they offered the idea of taking a trip. If you say, yeah, I want to go on a trip, all of you are responsible for planning that trip or putting some type of insight, not just some. And when they ask your opinion on something,
give it.
If you don't actually have an opinion, or like you're like me and you can pretty much fit in whatever category, like, yeah, I like to chill, I like to kind of do my own thing, but I didn't come out here just to chill the whole time. We're gonna mix some other stuff in there with it. That's how I am. I'm gonna go with what the group wants to do. Then just let that be known, like, hey, I don't have any expectations for the trip. I just really want to go and I want to have a good time. I'm down to do whatever y'all want to do. I just want to have a good time. Just let me know what I gotta pay, and then you handle your business and you go have a good time.
Well, and the fact that you said a couple of different things, that head honchos, and then you started talking about kind of like who's planning it and whatnot, that was actually going to be my last point, was you also need to kind of know your group dynamics. So do you have one person in charge of this whole entire trip? Do you have no one who's really taking that leadership position? Do you have too many leaders and cooks in the kitchen? Like, you really need to know your group dynamics and the kind of people that you surround yourself with. As I've stated probably before, and as you could probably tell, I am that group leader usually of my friends, but at the same time I also can co-lead with somebody else. Like, I have no problem with that, or I would love it if someone else took the reins for me once in a while, or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not an issue.
The government ain't got to be a dictatorship or autocratic. It can be an oligarchy. Everybody can be the leader and just have their points and just put your insight in when it matters, for real. Don't wait till we about to go on a trip tomorrow and you're like, I didn't want to do that. Bro,
well, and that's what I was going to say months. Too, is like, if you are a group leader, please try as one group leader to another. Please make sure that you are like taking into consideration, obviously, other people's viewpoints. Like, as much as I say I'm a group leader kind of in the way of like planning group trips, I really just put the things in my name.
You're gonna take the charge if nobody else is gonna take the charge.
I'm herding the cows. Right? Like, and I mean that the best way is like, I'm the one that might come in my name, or it could even be put in someone else's name, but I put their information in and I set it up, and I'm herding the cows to give me all the answers and things that they want.
Or she'll send you the link.
Yes, and tell you to go do this. But like,
you know,
you take the charge to be like, hey, here's your job, here's your job, here's your job. What's your opinion on this, this, and that? Like,
yes,
that's the kind of group leader I am. And it's like sometimes the group leaders can, I hate to say this, but the not so great group leaders can have bad reps because they can literally be planning a trip for them basically and like no one else. So all I'm gonna say, and if you're the person that's not a group leader at all and you're kind of like just kind of there, it's like, remember, it's not gonna happen unless you guys make it happen. So that's all I was gonna say, is also know your group dynamics too, like who would want to be kind of like the little group leaders in the sense, and can you trust that they're, delegating things? Like if they're not, maybe have that conversation with them so you're not blindsided of coming on this trip and now all of a sudden you get there and you owe $500 because you're doing 500 different things and you're like, where did this come from? Like,
right.
That's what I was gonna say, is like just group dynamics. You already touched on it very well. I just wanted to add like my little 2 cents too. Just, make sure group leaders be a good delegator, actually. Be just a charged delegator. Okay.
Or it's a group trip. Give yourself a charge. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You take hotel. Yes. I'll figure out activities. You do food. Like, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. And then you just split it up. And then it doesn't fall on one person. Not one person stressed out about it.
And if you didn't give your
everybody
opinion,
got their opinion.
And you don't like something, that was your fault for not giving your opinion. Don't complain about it.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Act.
Learn to enjoy it. Yeah.
Make it up. Smile. You'll be all right. You had all the time in the world to say what you wanted to do and what you ain't want to do.
Right.
And that's okay if you want to be the only one at the crib when everybody else is out on the boat doing whatever. You can be the only one at the crib by yourself. You came all the way out here to be at the crib by yourself.
That's fine. But yeah, that's all. Did you have anything to add by this? That's all I had.
That's it
for my little group travel.
If you're gonna do it right, and make sure all voices are heard and all parties are considered. And if all voices are heard, all parties are considered, make sure to handle your obligation on your end to make sure that the trip can be successful and actually happen.
Yeah. So that being said, then I want to hear from you guys personally. What if you have been on a group trip? First things first. Do you have any stories for us? Do you have
Y'all can call on Tyrone,
because we would love to hear the tea. Have you? I hate to put it like this, but have you had it ever end a friendship or seen one end because of a trip? Yeah, we want all the tea. So good group trips, bad group trips, all the juicy ones. We want to hear it all. Please send them in.
And look, I don't like to get on to people, but some of y'all, you know what I'm saying, you ain't been writing in like that. We need you to be writing in. Come on now. We need them stories now. Anybody else ask you any other time what your opinion is or what you got to say about something, you got everything in the world to say. But when we ask you to type a story in or give us a comment, let us know something we can talk. You don't want.
No, but
yeah, wifey said I'm doing too much. Wifey said I'm doing too much. More most likely to fight.
We would love to hear it. Even if you guys don't want us to actually share it, we personally would actually love to hear it, especially since it's relating to what we're talking to you guys about. So, and we're getting a lot of feedback that you guys like certain episodes, but we don't get your stories. So I got you. I got you, babe.
The story. We don't want to have to look for the Reddit story. Give us the Reddit story. We'll put the am I the asshole or is this person? We'll make the title. Just give us the story. Come on now.
But that being said, thank you guys so much for being here. Please send in your stories. Again, if you did like this episode, please go ahead and also give us a follow, a like, a subscribe, a comment, a rating, whatever it is that you want to do. But leave your mark for us. We would love it. We are found on everything at letmehollaatyou.podcast. That's literally Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I don't even know any of the other ones that you can do, but those are the big 2. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Like, we're literally everywhere, guys. So... we're literally everywhere. So you can find us, obviously. But that being said, again, please send us your stories. Let us know too if you had any must-haves for group trips that we missed that you think we should touch on. We'd love to hear those too. But that being said, do you have anything, my love?
Episode topics. If you got ideas for an episode that you really want to see us to do that we haven't touched on yet, please keep sending them in. We promise we're going to start trying to mix some of those ideas in the middle of our hours. We already did even one, the last episode we did, that was an episode or write-in. So, please send us your topics. We'll hear them and we'll gladly do them in the rotation. So, That being said, guys, thanks for joining us and we'll catch you next time on Let Me Holla at You.